The last day that I drank was November 3rd of 2007. I was driving home. I got into a song that was playing on the radio. It was actually Sunday Morning Coming Down, which is a drinking song. And just, you know, tried to see how fast I could go on a straightaway. As soon as I looked up from the speedometer, I realized I wasn't gonna make it around the corner. Hit the brakes and just nosed off in a really steep embankment into a bunch of trees, rolled the car several times. And when it stopped, I realized I had broken my arm, but was otherwise more or less all right. I crawled out the sunroof and kind of climbed up the bank and you know, just stopped right there and started crying and said, I'm done. I'm done. I was out in the middle of nowhere. I hitchhiked home and called the police myself. And I basically said, come give me a DUI, because I needed the consequences. That was the last time I had a drink. There's some strange stuff when it comes to stigma. I think one thing I realized was that I didn't have trouble getting a date when I was actively using. But after I got sober and said that I was in recovery, that scared people away. It was just such a weird thing. It was like, dude, if I went out on a date with you and had 10 beers, you would have thought it was fine. But if I go on a date with you and don't have one, there's something to worry about? That's odd. You'd think that there'd be some like alarm at like, oh, this dude like didn't remember what happened the last hour of the night, you know? Like, that's less worrisome than like, no, I don't drink anymore. I think my view and a lot of people's image of sobriety and recovery is, you know, a lot of depressed people sitting around. So for me, the idea of living a life without drinking was going to be dull. Phoenix taught me pretty quickly that that didn't have to be the case. You know, I found that there were other things I could do for fun, and that I didn't have to identify as an alcoholic in shame. I could be a rock climber. And eventually, I just think of myself as a rock climber. We're out there doing a lot of really cool stuff. Running triathlons, running marathons, rock climbing, doing yoga, doing strength training, putting big weights above our heads. And it's just cool to see. That's, you know, we can change how sobriety looks to the outside world and not be, you know, ashamed of who we are. My name's Rob, and I'm stronger than stigma.